And what first drew me into it was Denisova Cave in Siberia. Certain populations in the world today still have 3 to 5% of Neanderthal DNA.
Beneath the icy cloak of Siberia lies a secret so profound that it defies all we thought we knew about our ancient origins. Imagine a cave untouched for millennia, its walls whispering stories of a time when giants walked the earth. Here, scientists have uncovered relics that hint at a civilization older than recorded history itself. Who were these mysterious beings?
I think everybody's heard of the Neanderthals, and these days I think everybody's heard of the Denisovans as well.
And what secrets did they guard in the frozen embrace of Siberia's wilderness? Prepare to be astonished as we unveil scientists' discovery of non-human origins in a Siberian cave. Denisova Cave, echoes of ancient humanity. Nestled in the rugged terrains of the Altai Mountains, where the borders of Russia, China, Mongolia, and Kazakhstan meet, lies a fascinating piece of history that has captured the imaginations of archaeologists and historians alike, the Denisova Cave. This renowned cave in Siberia is not just any cave. It is a treasure trove of human evolution, situated in an area known for its breathtaking biodiversity and complex geological history. The mountains themselves are alive with a rich variety of plants and animals, setting the perfect backdrop for a story that's as much about the natural world as it is about our ancient ancestors. The story of Denisova Cave began to unfold in the 1970s, when Soviet scientists first explored its depths. At that time, their focus was on unraveling the geological and paleontological mysteries of the region, largely overlooking the cave's potential to unlock secrets of our past. Named after Denis, an 18th century hermit who once called the cave home, it adds a touch of human history to its ancient walls. With its complex maze of chambers and galleries, the cave hinted at tales of early human habitation, lying just beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered. However, it wasn't until 2008 that the Denisova Cave truly gained global attention. This newfound fame was thanks to the discovery of a small finger bone in Russia's Denisova Cave, a single pinky bone that turned out to belong to neither a Neanderthal nor an anatomically modern human. Instead, it belonged to a previously unknown ancient human species. This discovery catapulted the Denisova Cave into the spotlight. The cave, with its rich layers of history spanning tens of thousands of years, revealed itself as a vibrant crossroads where various human groups had once converged and interacted. The Denisova Cave became more than just a geological formation. It became a testament to the complexities of human evolution and migration. What makes the Denisova Cave particularly fascinating is not only its archaeological treasures, but also its remote location nestled deep in the Altai Mountains. Getting to this cave is no easy task. The harsh climate and rugged terrain present significant challenges to those brave enough to explore its secrets. Yet, it is precisely these obstacles that attract researchers from around the world. Each expedition brings us closer to unraveling the mysteries not only of the Denisovans, but also of human history on a larger scale. Just imagine stumbling upon a piece of the human history puzzle, hidden deep within Siberia's Denisova Cave, a discovery that could reshape our understanding of ancient civilizations and their interactions. Survivors of Asia's high mountains. Denisovans were remarkably successful in their 300,000-year history, dominating Asia's harsh, mountainous regions with elevations exceeding 13,000 feet, even enduring the coldest ice ages. These high-altitude Asian environments were long thought uninhabited due to their extreme conditions, but recent discoveries have sparked renewed interest among researchers eager to uncover what else may lie hidden at such heights. Interestingly, during past ice ages when climates were colder than today, Denisovans thrived in these challenging landscapes, including boreal forests and tundra regions in northeastern Eurasia, and the high plateaus of western China and Tibet. In contrast to Neanderthals, who preferred milder temperate forests and grasslands of Southwest Asia, Denisovans showed superior adaptation to cold environments. A recent study suggests Denisovans and Neanderthals likely overlapped geographically, especially in the Siberian Altai Mountains during warmer periods. Evidence includes the discovery of Deni, a 90,000-year-old hominin identified as the offspring of a Denisovan father and a Neanderthal mother, indicating interbreeding was potentially common among these early human populations. Notably, Denisovans left traces of their presence in Denisova Cave, located about 1,500 miles north of the only other confirmed Denisovan fossil discovery. Surprisingly, a Tibetan monk unknowingly discovered a fossilized lower jawbone in a cave on the Tibetan Plateau, at an altitude of nearly 11,000 feet. This significant find was eventually passed to scientists for study. The analysis of ancient proteins extracted from the fossil known as the Xia mandible indicates that it belonged to a member of the mysterious Denisovans, marking the only Denisovan specimen discovered outside Denisova Cave. Notably, a distinct lineage of Denisovans existed in Southeast Asia and Australia, diverging from the Siberian Denisovans similarly to how Homo sapiens diverged from Neanderthals. This suggests that northern and southern Denisovans likely had different physical characteristics and appearances. Denisovans, an extinct sister group of Neanderthals, are known primarily from fragmentary fossils found in Siberia's Altai Mountains. Their genetic influence can be detected in several Asian, Australian, and Melanesian populations, indicating they were once widespread. The mandible provides direct evidence of Denisovans outside the Altai Mountains, revealing its close relation to the Denisovans of Denisova Cave. Although no DNA traces were preserved in this fossil, scientists successfully extracted ancient proteins from one of its molars. These ancient proteins, despite severe degradation, can be distinguished from modern proteins that might contaminate the sample. A thick carbonate crust was found attached to the mandible, and using U-series dating, the research team concluded that the mandible is at least 160,000 years old. This minimum age places the mandible among the oldest Denisovan fossils known, comparable to those from Denisova Cave. It is also the earliest hominin fossil discovered on the Tibetan Plateau, preceding the region's oldest known Paleolithic sites by at least 120,000 years. The discovery of the mandible indicates that Denisovans inhabited the Tibetan Plateau and adapted successfully to its high-altitude, low-oxygen environment long before modern Homo sapiens arrived in the region. While there are still many mysteries surrounding this find, scientists are eagerly anticipating further clues that the jaw may provide about human evolution across Asia. Interestingly, the fossil could help identify other Denisovans among Asia's growing collection of hominin fossils that don't neatly fit into known branches of our family tree. For instance, a three-rooted molar in the jaw resembles a tooth found in a mandible from Taiwan known as Penghu 1, suggesting a potential Denisovan connection. Northern Denisovans lived approximately 1,200 kilometers southwest on the Tibetan Plateau during the Ice Age. Around 200,000 years ago, children left hand and foot impressions in sticky mud on the Tibetan Plateau, more than 13,100 feet above sea level. These impressions, now preserved in limestone, represent some of the earliest evidence of human ancestors in the area, and possibly the oldest of their kind ever discovered. During an expedition to a fossil hot spring in Kasang, scientists dated the impressions by measuring the amount of uranium, a naturally occurring radioactive element, present in the prints. Based on uranium's decay rate, they estimated that the impressions were made between 169,000 and 226,000 years ago. Analyzing the size of the prints, researchers determined that they were left by two children, one approximately the size of a modern-day 7-year-old, and the other the size of a 12-year-old. However, scientists cannot definitively determine which species of ancient humans left these handprints. Nevertheless, these prints provide the earliest evidence of hominins in Tibet, suggesting that ancient humans may have lived on the plateau concurrently. The mandible, dated to at least 160,000 years old, implies that the bone fragments could be contemporaneous with the handprints. Interestingly, Bisha Cave, where the mandible was found, is located hundreds of miles north of the footprints and sits at an elevation of only 10,500 feet above sea level. This discovery makes the newly found handprints the oldest evidence of human occupation in the plateau's highest elevation region. While the exact species remains uncertain, the handprints likely belong to Denisovans. This study could suggest that Denisovans were among the earliest inhabitants of Tibet and that they genetically adapted to cope with the high-altitude challenges. Denisovan genetic mysteries. The handprints found in Denisova Cave are made of travertine, a type of limestone formed by mineral deposits from natural springs. When first deposited, travertine forms a soft, sludgy mud that easily takes impressions of hands and feet. Over time, when cut off from water, travertine hardens into stone. Previous expeditions in the area discovered similar hands and footprints, along with other traces of early human activity on nearby slopes. These earlier impressions vary in size, suggesting they were left by both children and adults naturally as people moved across the landscape. In contrast, the newly found handprints appear to have been intentionally placed. They are purposefully arranged and distinct from what you would expect from everyday activities on a slope. They seem to be part of intentional human activity, possibly reflecting Denisovans' high-altitude adaptations. Interestingly, these prints resemble finger flutings, a form of prehistoric art created by running fingers over soft surfaces on cave walls. Neanderthals previously created similar finger flutings in a cave in Belgium around 100,000 years ago. It's noteworthy that the gene allowing modern humans to thrive at high altitudes was inherited from Denisovans. According to a study published in Nature, the EPAS1 gene variant, which affects blood oxygen levels, is common among Tibetans, many of whom live year-round at altitudes of 4,000 meters. However, the DNA sequence closely resembles that of the extinct Denisovans. Researchers have associated Denisovans with a unique variant of the EPAS1 gene, which regulates the body's production of hemoglobin, the molecule responsible for transporting oxygen in the blood. When the body encounters low oxygen levels at high altitudes, EPAS1 activates other genes, prompting the production of more red blood cells. This variant of EPAS1 found among Tibetans likely evolved through natural selection after their ancestors migrated to Asia's high-altitude plateau thousands of years ago. At high elevations, people typically experience various physiological challenges such as breathlessness and altitude sickness. Over time, the body compensates by producing more red blood cells. However, in individuals not adapted to high altitudes, this response can be maladaptive, leading to excessively thickened blood and elevated blood pressure, increasing the risk of conditions like stroke, especially in pregnant women. Interestingly, Tibetans are protected from these risks because they produce fewer red blood cells when at high altitudes. This prevents their blood from thickening excessively. Researchers are intrigued by the significant difference in this genetic adaptation compared to other human populations today. Although the exact reasons for this unique adaptation remain unclear, they turned to ancient genome sequences for answers. Researchers initially compared it to Neanderthals but found no match. Then, when they compared it to Denisovans, they were surprised to discover an almost exact match. The interbreeding event with Denisovans likely occurred long ago. After Denisovan DNA was integrated with modern humans, it persisted at low frequencies across various Asian populations for a significant period. When Tibetan ancestors migrated to high altitudes, this genetic variant became advantageous and spread widely among them. Today, most Tibetans carry this genetic adaptation. However, it remains uncertain whether Denisovans themselves were adapted to high-altitude life. Denisova Cave, where their remains were found, sits at an elevation of 2,500, which is not particularly high. Yet, it's close to the Altai Mountains, rising above 10,000 feet. This case provides a clear example of humans adapting to new environments, using genes acquired through interbreeding with other human species. A study of Eurasian populations revealed that Neanderthal DNA is notably present in regions of the genome related to skin, hair, and nails, suggesting advantageous adaptations that aided Homo sapiens in Eurasian conditions. One hypothesis posits that East Asians have higher amounts of Neanderthal DNA but very little Denisovan DNA because Neanderthals may have replaced Denisovans during the last interglacial period around 100,000 years ago in temperate regions of East Asia. Meanwhile, northern Denisovans may have persisted in small populations at extremely high elevations. Secrets of ancient art and survival. Denisova Cave is a treasure trove of prehistoric artifacts, providing fascinating insights into the lives of its ancient inhabitants, the Denisovans. This cave is not just a place where early humans lived. It's a site rich with physical evidence and numerous relics left behind by these people. Researchers have uncovered a wealth of valuable artifacts within its depths, many of which are crafted from stone. One prominent type of artifact found is lithic cores, which are pieces of stone or flint that the Denisovans meticulously shaped to meet their needs. These tools include stone scrapers, likely used for cutting meat or tanning animal hides, denticulate lithic cores, which had jagged edges possibly for cutting wood or breaking rocks, and pointed Levallois cores, probably used to pierce the flesh of prey. The tools discovered in the cave span an impressive range of time, dating from as early as 280,000 years ago to about 14,000 years ago. This indicates that the cave was home to many generations of Denisovans. In addition to their functional tools, the Denisovans demonstrated a penchant for decoration and more refined craftsmanship. Among the artifacts found were stone barons, small handheld tools similar to modern engraving utensils. These barons allowed the Denisovans to carve patterns and markings into bone and the cave walls, possibly as a form of art or to decorate their belongings. Chisels were also discovered, which would have been used to shape stone and wood with precision. As time progressed, the Denisovans' mastery of their environment became evident through a broader array of tools made from animal bones. These bone tools were more sophisticated and intricate than earlier stone tools and were often used for personal adornment. Among the remarkable finds from Denisova Cave are ivory rings, pendants made from deer teeth, and bone needles, which suggest that the Denisovans may have sewn animal hides together to create simple clothing. The Denisovans were not only skilled toolmakers, but also created beautiful jewelry from stone and marble. Rings and necklaces made from these materials have been found in Denisova Cave. However, it is possible that these items were crafted by early Homo sapiens. These pieces date back to around 55,000 years ago, a time when modern humans were migrating across Asia and Siberia, making it unclear which species made these advanced artifacts. The mystery remains unsolved, as either the Denisovans or Homo sapiens could be responsible for these creations. Interestingly, the Denisovans might have been pioneers in the earliest forms of art. Archaeological discoveries in 2021 near the Kweisang Hot Springs in modern-day Tibet, China, revealed the earliest known human occupation of the Tibetan Plateau. These findings, dating back roughly 200,000 years, could be revolutionary. The evidence includes a series of handprints and footprints preserved in the sediment, believed to have been made by young Denisovans. The size of the prints suggests they were made by children, who might have been playing or experimenting with patterns and shapes. These children carefully overlapped their prints only slightly and focused them on a small area of the sediment. There is also evidence of intentional movement within the prints, indicating that the children purposefully moved their fingers in the ancient mud. These Denisovan prints are the oldest of their kind in the archaeological record, with the next known examples not appearing for another 40,000 years. If these young Denisovans were indeed experimenting with impressions and prints, it could be considered the earliest example of intentional art in the natural world, setting a remarkable precedent for artistic expression that would last for hundreds of thousands of years. As for their diet, the Denisovans shared many similarities with our Neanderthal cousins living on the Pleistocene mammoth steppe. They had high-protein diets obtained from the meat of large animals. Their diets were also rich in starch and fatty acids, indicating that meat was a significant and substantial part of their daily intake. The Denisovans likely hunted or scavenged to obtain this meat, and the mammoth steppe provided plenty of opportunities for both. Evidence from Denisova Cave, including jewelry made from wild deer, suggests that species like red deer and elk were staples in their diet. These animals were abundant across the mammoth steppe during the late Pleistocene, and the Denisovans were adept at hunting them, using their intelligence and advanced tools. Most spectacularly, there is evidence that Denisovans hunted the woolly mammoth, the namesake of the mammoth steppe. As these massive creatures migrated and grazed across the grasslands of Eurasia, they would have encountered groups of Denisovans. Hunting such a colossal animal would have required complex strategies and a variety of hunting tools. While many hunts likely failed, those who succeeded in taking down a woolly mammoth would have secured a source of nourishment that could sustain their group for weeks, providing a crucial buffer against the harsh Pleistocene winters. Rewriting prehistoric craftsmanship. A stone bracelet found in Denisova Cave is already recognized as the oldest of its kind in the world. Believed to have been crafted by the extinct Denisovan species rather than ancient Homo sapiens, it was originally dated to be between 40,000 and 50,000 years old. This remarkable piece was discovered in stratum 11 of the renowned Denisova Cave. Recent research suggests that the bracelet might have been buried 65,000 to 70,000 years ago, far earlier than previously believed. This discovery challenges the assumption that ancient humans of that time were not capable of creating such sophisticated objects. The true age of the bracelet could be even older, but current technology does not allow for a precise determination. The bracelet is believed to have been worn by a very important woman or child. This stunning piece reflects sunlight beautifully during the day and casts a deep shade of green by the firelight at night. It is unlikely that it was used as everyday jewelry, suggesting its role in special ceremonies or events. The bracelet was found in the same layer as some prehistoric human remains, indicating it likely belonged to them. The manufacturing technology used to create the bracelet is more commonly associated with a much later period, such as the Neolithic era, making this discovery even more remarkable. It remains a mystery how the Denisovans managed to create such a sophisticated bracelet with the skills they had. The two fragments of the bracelet found measure 2.7 centimeters in width and 0.9 centimeters in thickness, with an estimated diameter of centimeters. Near one of the cracks, there is a drilled hole with a diameter of about 0.8 centimeters. Scientists examining the fragments discovered that the drill used had a high rotational speed with minimal fluctuations, a technique involving a more recent technology. This suggests that the ancient craftsmen had advanced skills not typically associated with the Paleolithic era. Chlorite, the material used for the bracelet, was not found near Denisova Cave and is believed to have been transported from at least 200 kilometers away, highlighting its value at the time. The bracelet shows signs of damage, with visible scratches and bumps, although some scratches appear to have been sanded down. Experts believe that the bracelet likely had additional adornments to enhance its beauty, further emphasizing the advanced craftsmanship of the Denisovans. A small, polished area on the bracelet's outer surface suggests it was in frequent contact with a soft organic material, likely a leather strap with a heavy charm. The location of this polished section allowed scientists to determine the top and bottom of the bracelet and concluded it was worn on the right hand. Further excavation at the site uncovered other artifacts dating back as far as 125,000 years. This remarkable bracelet indicates that the Denisovans, who are now extinct, were more advanced in their craftsmanship than both Homo sapiens and Neanderthals of their time. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. In the heart of Siberia, where winter clung fiercely to the land and the wind whispered ancient tales, a hidden cave lay undisturbed. For centuries, its entrance had evaded discovery, shrouded by a blanket of snow and ice. But when a team of daring scientists finally unearthed it, they uncovered more than mere darkness and frozen rock. Inside, the air was frigid and heavy with mystery. The walls, adorned with shimmering minerals unseen elsewhere, held secrets etched in strange glyphs. These markings spoke of a time when beings not of this world walked the earth, guardians of celestial wisdom. Led by a renowned archaeologist, the team delved deeper, their lanterns casting flickering light on artifacts untouched by time, crystals that pulsed softly with an unearthly glow, and alloys of metal unknown to modern science. News of their discovery spread rapidly. Secret Siberia. Scientists discovered non-human origins inside an ancient cave. Amidst the frenzy, the cave in Siberia remained a silent witness to the mysteries of our past and the unyielding curiosity that drives humanity ever forward. Ancient DNA revelations. Due to the cool temperatures inside Denisova Cave, scientists have successfully preserved and sequenced mitochondrial DNA from ancient specimens found within its walls. Through extensive analysis, they determined that Denisovan DNA differs from modern human DNA by 385 bases out of a total of 16,500. In comparison, Neanderthal mitochondrial DNA differs from modern humans by just over 200 bases in total. Initially, this suggested that Neanderthals split from our common ancestors' evolutionary line around 600,000 years ago at the earliest, making them more closely related to modern humans than Denisovans. Consequently, Denisovans are considered an older and more archaic species, having diverged from our common ancestors over 1 million years ago, about 400,000 years earlier than Neanderthals. Further studies involving nuclear DNA from all three species have revealed that Denisovans and Neanderthals are more closely related to each other than either is to Homo sapiens. These studies indicate that Denisovans and Neanderthals split from modern humans approximately 800,000 years ago, and then diverged from each other around 640 years ago. The closest common ancestor shared by Neanderthals and Denisovans, recent research has revealed that early Denisovans also engaged in interbreeding with Homo sapiens, contributing to a diverse genetic heritage. Hybridization was likely common among hominids on the mammoth steppe, with many interactions between species likely being peaceful. For example, genetic analysis has shown that 17% of the Denisovan genome recovered from Denisova Cave matches that of Neanderthals who lived in the same region. This indicates frequent and significant interbreeding between the two species. Additionally, some known Denisovan specimens are actually the offspring of Denisovan-Neanderthal unions, and is suspected to belong to a currently unknown hominin species. This mystery complicates efforts to pinpoint the exact origins and evolutionary path of Denisovans, a species known from the Songhua River region in China, or Homo daliensis from Dali County in China. Interactions and adaptations across Asia. Throughout the Middle to Late Pleistocene era, various human species interacted and interbred across Asia. As Denisovans migrated southward into Southeast Asia, it's likely they encountered and bred with other hominin species, leading to the presence of hybrid offspring. Today, traces of Denisovan DNA are most commonly found in Australian Aboriginals, people of the South Pacific Islands, Indonesians, and the Jahai people of Malaysia. Interestingly, this genetic legacy is less prevalent among East Asians, suggesting that Denisovans may have ventured beyond mainland Asia into regions such as Oceania, including Australia, Polynesia, and the islands of Indonesia and Malaysia. The highest levels of interbreeding between Homo sapiens and Denisovans are believed to have occurred in areas like Wallacea and Sunderland. Evidence from the discovery of the Toliang girls' remains, dating back approximately 7,200 years, indicates significant Denisovan genetic influence in these regions. Denisovan genes likely provided early humans with adaptive advantages, aiding in their adaptation to diverse environments. These genes may have helped ancient humans cope with colder Eurasian climates after migrating from Africa. Denisovan DNA is associated with adaptations to high altitudes, low oxygen environments, fat distribution, and sensory traits like smell. There is even speculation that Denisovan genetic contributions to the human genome thousands of years ago may have influenced modern humans' resilience to diseases, such as those encountered during the COVID-19 pandemic. Denisovans occupied a vast geographical range extending from northern to southern Asia, encompassing diverse environments and habitats. On the Mammoth Steppe, they encountered expansive plains and hills covered with hardy grasses adapted to cold climates. Harsh winters brought thick blankets of snow and biting winds, creating challenging conditions in sparse, open landscapes. Rocky cliffs and mountains dotted the landscape, providing early humans with essential caves for shelter and warmth, offering respite from the harsh steppe climate. In some areas, large lakes formed between rivers, providing Denisovans with a reliable source of fresh water. To the north, pine forests thrived, while temperate woodlands dominated the southern regions. These environments provided hiding places for animal prey seeking shelter from harsh weather and predators. Across the steppe, vast herds of grazing herbivores evolved during the Pleistocene, perfectly adapted to the tough vegetation covering the ground. Seasonally, herds of antelope and bison gathered, prime targets for Denisovan hunters in the expansive grasslands. Near the forests, boars and deer browsed on softer vegetation, or sifted food from the forest floor's leaf litter. During this time, spectacular and unfamiliar creatures, such as giant deer species and woolly rhinoceroses, roamed the landscape, posing both challenges and rewards for Denisovan hunters. The steppe also hosted awe-inspiring herds of mammoths, offering risky but substantial opportunities for food acquisition. However, the open terrain was fraught with dangers. Cave lions, wolves, and cave hyenas hunted in packs, while both brown and cave bears posed significant threats. As Denisovans expanded southward, crossing into diverse environments and encountering new fauna, their hunting tactics adapted. Journeying towards the Himalayas and the Tibetan Plateau, they honed their skills in pursuing various goat and sheep species native to these regions. What do you think about the fascinating discoveries made in Denisova Cave? Let us know your opinion in the comments below.